Hello, everyone, and welcome you all to another chapter of the DaVinci Resolve tutorial. So now we are on our chapter number 3, where we'll be understanding about the workspace. Okay, so as I've already told you that once you're familiar with the workspace, the software will basically look quite easy for you to navigate and work through. So let's not waste time and let's get started. So over here, as you guys can see, now I'm here in the workspace of the DaVinci Resolve. Okay, so mainly we are going to talk about the workspace over here, okay, to get you guys familiar with the workspace. So let's get started. Okay, so on top, as you guys can see, you do have a lot of options right over here. Okay, so this is basically called as the menu bar. And under menu bar, here you guys can see I do have, if I do want to create a new project instead of this one, okay, I will be able to create up a new project. If you do want to save this project which you have worked on, you guys can save the project. If you want to save this project and want to rename it at the same time, make sure to choose the save project as. Okay, and here you do have the import option. Here also you guys can see if you do want to export anything, you guys can come here and you can export your things up. And also you do have under edit, you do have undo, redo if you want to see the history. And if you want to select all of these object in your timeline, you guys can also do that. Here are a lot of options, okay, which we'll learn once we move deeper into our classes. Okay, and in DaVinci Resolve, okay, these are the 7 options which you need to basically focus on. Okay, so the first thing is importing a media. Okay, so let's start with importing a media. So once you're over here in this particular page, you will see that you have all the drives which you have in your PC over here, from where you guys will be able to upload your file. Okay, let's say you do have your file in the E drive. Okay, so in that case, I will come here onto the E drive, and from here, I will be able to select the project using which I want to work on. So let's double click over here, and you guys can see I do have already segregated this one as the audios, the images, the videos, and I do have this particular logo. Okay, and if you do want to increase the size of this icon, you guys can see on top I do have this particular slider. If I just move this one on top, you guys can see now I am able to view all of these folders quite large. Okay, but if I do want to decrease the size, again I can decrease the size quite like this. Okay, and from here, let's say if I just double click, you guys can see I do have a lot of videos using which I can work on. And here, if I just click once onto that particular video, you guys can see I am able to see a small preview of the video using which I am going to work on. Okay, you guys can see this is the total duration. Okay, if you want to bring it right over here, okay, this is the first frame of the video, and this is basically the last frame of the video. Okay, so there are different ways of how you will be able to import. Once you are over into your videos, you guys can come here and simply drag and drop it over here in your media pool. Okay, so you guys can come here and let's say you want to drag this one over here into the media pool, and you guys can basically work on over here. Okay, so you guys can actually import this particular videos by just dragging and dropping. Okay, and again over here, let's say you want to upload the whole folder itself. Okay, you guys can come back, and you guys make sure that you guys just hold this thing up right over here, and the whole folder will basically get uploaded. Okay, so make sure of that. What do you want to do? Do you want to upload this whole folder altogether, or do you want to upload individually each and everything? Okay, so you guys can come here, you guys can actually get a preview of how it actually looks. You guys can just hover your mouse and see what kind of video you do have over here. Okay, so you guys can come here and you guys can just hover your mouse quite like this. Let's take this particular video, and if you want to add it into media pool, there are other ways. Just right click on the video And from here, you guys can see you do have the option of add into media pool. Okay, so once you add this into the media pool, here basically you will have a pop-up window quite like this, which says the selected clip have a different frame rate to the project. Would you like to change your timeline frame rate to match? Okay, and under option, you do have two options. Okay, so one is don't change, and the other one is basically change. Okay, so to understand that, let's come here. Let's just go back over here. Okay, so I will just click on don't change, and here you guys can see now I do have my video right over here in my media pool. Okay, so in that case, now if you do want to delete it as well, right click and you guys can delete it from here. Otherwise, select this particular media and click on to the delete button from your keyboard. Okay, so let's say I want to take multiple files from here. I will just drag this one down over here, add into media pool. I will just click on don't change or change from here. Okay, it totally depends on you. So let's say I will just click on change, and again I will come here and I will just delete this footage. Okay, let's select this one. Let's delete this footage. So now again from here, let's just drag and drop this video. And now I will click on don't change over here. Okay, so this is how you guys can create, because if you come here, if you click on to this video, here you guys can also see what is the detail of this particular clip. Okay, you guys can see what is the frame rate over here. And also on top, you guys will be able to see that what is the resolution of this particular video, and here is the frame per second. But the project which I had created, if you go into file, if you go into project settings, here you guys can see the timeline resolution is 1280 into 720. Okay, and the timeline frame rate is 29.97 frames per second. Okay, so if I come here and if I just cancel this thing now, you guys can see both of this won't basically match. Okay, so in that case, they will show me that particular warning sign from where I will be able to select, do I want the existing frame rate or the one which I had created manually from my DaVinci Resolve. Okay, so let's take out other videos. Let's come here and let's drag these things out. Let's come here and let's drag this video over here as well. Okay, so now over here, I do have this for videos. If I do want to see up a preview, I can just click here over once and I can basically see the preview here in my source monitor. Okay, so you guys can come here and you guys can basically see up a preview as well. And here, if you just hover your mouse over onto this media folders, you guys can come here and you guys can work on with that. Okay, so if you want to come here, want to create up a new bin, you guys can also do all of that over here. So this was about the media page. And now let's move on to this cut page over here. Okay, so once you come here into the cut page, you guys can basically see that over here in my media handle, I do have this all videos. Okay, here in my master page option. Okay, so let's come here and if you want to import, or let's say if you want to trim, so mostly we don't use this option much, because the same thing you will be able to do over here into the edit page as well. But to just give you guys an intro about what it is and in what cases you guys will be able to use that, let's say you do have multiple videos, okay, multiple footages. So in that case, you guys can come here, drag this over here into your timeline. Okay, let's come here, let's drag this over here on my timeline again. So let's come here, let's drag this one down here onto the timeline. And here you guys can see our timeline is basically created. Okay, so we'll be talking about timeline in detail. And let's say if I come over here and I want to add another footage. Okay, so let's come here and let's add another footage over here as well. Okay, so let's come here, let's bring my playhead at the end. Okay, let's come here, let's bring my playhead from here to the last. I just have to make sure that I drag this playhead. Okay, so you guys can come here and you guys can move this playhead from here as well. So over here now I want to add up another video. So this is how you guys can basically add up another video. The same way you guys just drag this one, come here down, and over here again you guys can basically add this particular video as well. Okay, so now over here underneath you guys can see that I am not able to view all of this at once, but on top, as you guys can see, I do have another timeline where I'm able to see all of this over here in detail. Okay, so here you guys can see I do have these footages, and if I want to change up the spacing, I can come here and I can just change the spacing. Now you guys can see this first video. Okay, this particular video is at first now, and this one is in second. So the same way, if you just move this particular playhead, you guys can see this particular timeline is also being moved. Okay, and individually, if you want to trim this thing down, you guys can come here and you guys can basically trim this thing down quite like this right over here. Okay, and this was basically about the cut page. Okay, and if you don't want to come here, and if you want to add up a new bin, you guys can come here, click on add bin, and let's say I want to name this one as videos. Okay, so let's come here, let's name this one as videos. And once you have saved this, let's say what I can do is I will come here, I will just select all of this, and I will just drag and drop this over here into my bin. Okay, so once you have so many videos, it's quite hard for you to understand which video you will use in what particular place. So it's quite handy and quite useful once you organize your workspace. Okay, so it is about this particular cut page right over here. If you do want to trim it down, if you want to cut anything, okay, you guys can come here and you guys can cut and trim. Okay, so here you guys can see you do have the split clip option, and here the ripple is basically on. Okay, so if you come here and if you do wanna on the ripple, you guys can come here and you guys can turn on the ripple mode. And if you do have any kind of audio over here, you guys can come here, and if you do want to mute the track or if you want to disable it totally, you guys can come here and you guys can disable it properly as well. Okay, so this was about this cut page over here. Now let's come here onto the edit page. Okay, so over here, this is the most important page, and this is the page where we'll be spending most of our time. Okay, so the first thing, if you guys can see, this is basically the source monitor. Okay, so this is the source monitor right over here where you will be able to view all of these videos, okay, which you are going to work on. Okay, so if you just click over here once, you guys will be able to see that you do have all of these videos over here. This is the timeline from where I will be able to add different kind of videos. If I want to put up 2 or 3 footages, I can come here and I can also do that from here itself. Okay, so let's come here, let's click on fit in the timeline. Now I am able to view all the 3 videos over here in my timeline. And now if I want to view my timeline in a bigger way, let's say I will come here and I will just turn off the media pool, and here you guys can see now I am not able to see my media pool right over here, but instead I am able to see my source monitor, and over here I am also able to see this preview window. Okay, so here only the magic will take place where you will be able to cut. Okay, you will be able to put on different clips, you will be able to put on the audio which you like. Okay, and also over here you guys can see you do have this audio options. So if you just click over here once, you guys can see that you do have this audio functions right over here itself. And if you want to zoom in the timeline, zoom in and out, you guys can come here and manually zoom in and zoom out the timeline right over here. And again, if I do want to check my media pool, let's come here, click on media pool. And here you guys can see under the videos folder or the video bin, I do have 4 of this video. Okay, and here this is the smart bin. Let's say if you do have actually come here and now you want to see what are the video clips do I have. Okay, so under video clips here, you guys can see I do have this four. And if I come here, click on audio only, you guys can see that I don't have any audio yet over here. Okay, and I didn't segregate or created the bin according to myself. But over here, the smart bin option, what it does is if you just import any kind of video, it recognizes what kind of file it is and it segregates them accordingly. So if it's a video clip, it will just save it up in the video option. If it's an audio clip, it will set it up in an audio clip option. If you do have any kind of effect, any music, any dialogue, okay. And if you do have different kind of files, okay, which it is not able to understand what kind of file it is, then it will just save it under the uncategorized option. Okay, so this is about this edit page over here. Okay, so let's say once you're done editing, you do have put on all the images, you do have put all of the audios over here. Now what you want to do is you want to come here and you want to work on with motion graphics and also VFX. So in that case here, you guys can see this is one of the nicest and best feature of the DaVinci Resolve, which is known as the frames. Over here, you guys can see now I am able to check out here in my inspector panel. Okay, and also you guys can see I do have this particular nodes. Okay, so these things are basically called nodes. And over here, you guys might see more options over here. And if you don't see more options, you guys can come here and you guys can actually set it up according well to yourself. Okay, let's say I want to see the metadata. I can come here, I can turn on the metadata. If I do want to see up the keyframes here, you guys can see I am able to see up the keyframes here in this particular workspace as well. Okay, so let's say if I want to come here, if I do want to increase the timeline size and I want to decrease this particular thing right over here, I can also come here and I can do that. So this is quite interesting, and here we'll be learning about that in detail, which is quite handy. Okay, so I hope you guys do have understood over here TL Fusion. But for now, I'll be telling you guys that this is mostly used for motion graphics, and also it is used for any kind of VFX work, this particular Fusion page. And now let's move on to the color page where you guys will be able to work with the color grading. Okay, so you guys might see this kind of interface at first. If you do want to change it, you guys can come here and you guys can change it accordingly. Okay, and if you see this keyframe option and if you want to see the scopes, you guys can come here and you guys can select this particular scopes, and here you guys can see you do have the color scopes as well. Okay, so here I will just turn it back on again, the keyframe option, and over here also you guys can basically work around. Okay, so we'll be learning about coloring as well. So these are few of the important features. If you do want to decrease the spacing, you guys can come here and decrease the spacing as well. Here you guys can see if you do want to zoom in and zoom out, you guys can come here, zoom in and zoom out to the footages accordingly. So here you guys can see individually each and every frame or each and individual project or this particular video I can work on with the color grading over here itself. Okay, so from here also, if you do want to see the media pool, you guys can come here, click on media pool, and you will have this video option. And under here, you guys can see I do have my media, which I do have uploaded. Okay, and over here just now I will just click on clips and only I'm able to see the clips right now. And again, if I do want to turn off the media pool, I will come here, I will just turn off the media pool from here as well. Okay, so this was about color grading. From here you will be able to do some color correction, some color grading, okay, of some high classes. Okay, and if you want to check out the effects, you guys can come here, click on the effects option, and here you guys can see you do have a lot of effects which you guys can basically work on while color grading. Okay, so I will come here, I will just deselect these things. Okay, let's say let's delete this one. And if you do want to move out the playhead, you guys can come here and move out the playhead as well. Okay, so I will just turn off the effects again. And here you guys can see if I do want to turn off the nodes option, I can turn off the nodes option as well. And if I want to turn on the timeline, which we have already seen over here in the cut page, that is the type of page which will also appear right over here as well. So over here, I'm also able to see the total duration of the video. Okay. And individually, you guys can work on with the color modes over here. And once you're done with the coloring, you have worked with the motion graphics, you have worked with the VFX, you have done the color grading. Now comes the audio. Okay, so here the audio option is known as the Fairlight. So you guys can come here, click on to this audio option. Then over here, you will have a page quite like this. Okay, so over here you do have the mixer. If you do want to increase or decrease the noise level, you guys can come here, increase or decrease the noise level over here. Okay, and you guys can see you do have the sound library right over here itself. If you click here once, if you want to download the free sound library, you guys can come here. Let's click on download, and you guys can basically download the sound library, which will basically redirect you into their page, okay, into the Blackmagic or the DaVinci Resolve page. So you guys can download that particular thing right from here itself. Okay, and once you're done with the audio, once you're done motion graphicing, once you're done color correcting, now the last thing is the deliver page. Okay, so this is also called as the export page over here. So here you guys can see on my left hand side, you guys can actually view that what I do want to name this file. Where do I want to save this file? Okay, and do I want it as a single clip, or I want to have those things as individual clips? And also you guys can see what is going to be the format, the resolution, how the frame rate is going to be. Okay, and also there are some advanced settings as well. You guys can come here and check those things out as well. Okay, so yeah, I hope you guys do have understood about the 7 important pages in which we are going to work on in the DaVinci Resolve. Okay, then again, if I come here into the media file, you guys can see I do have this metadata option. Okay, let's say I will just click over here, and over here into the metadata option, I will be able to see all the information of my video. Okay, so from here, I will be able to see all the information available for my video. Okay, and if I want to go to the inspector panel, you guys can see all the values related to the video selected on my frame. I will be able to change that. If I do want to transform it, do I want to crop it? I can basically crop it. If I do want to put out any kind of transition, I can also put out kind of transitions over here itself. Okay. So that was about this particular thing. And last down, you guys can see as I do have all of these options. Okay. Let's say I don't want to view all these things options. I want it to hide. Okay. Because sometimes it might create some confusion when you are working over here in the timeline. So in that case, what you guys can do is you guys can go to the workspace, and from here, make sure to turn off the show page navigation option. And now if you just take a look underneath, you guys won't be able to see the 7 pages options right over here. And again, the same way, if you do want to view those things up, let's go to the workspace again, and let's click on show page navigation, which again shows me these 7 pages. Okay, so that is about the workspace. And also, if there are different options, if you do want to reset the UI layout, you guys can also do that. So sometimes what happens is if you do want to work over here, you guys can actually decrease the spacing just by dragging. Okay, if you do want this media file to be less, you guys can come here, and once you have that kind of arrow on your screen, it shows that you guys will be able to work over here. So as I have increased the size over here on top, let's go to workspace. And from here, if you want to reset the UI layout, you guys click on reset UI, and it will be back at the same UI which you have started working on. Okay, so you guys can come here, and if you do want to switch the pages, instead of over here, let's say my show page navigation is turned off, but now I want to go from my media page to my other pages. So in that case, go to workspace, go to switch to page, and from here you guys can see, you guys can check out in what page do I want to go? Okay. And the shortcut key for that is Shift plus 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 accordingly. And also, if you want to click on show page, and if you want to directly see up any page, let's say I want to go with the Fusion, you guys can come here and you guys can actually work on with the Fusion page over here. Okay, so let's come here and now let's go to Workspace. I will just click on show page navigation. Now over here, I don't have my Fusion page over here available as well. Okay. So now to go back again, I will just go and check this show page option. Let's turn on the Fusion. Let's go to Workspace, switch to page. And from here, now let's go to the edit page option. So this is how you guys will be able to work over here. And under effects, you guys can see I do have all of these effects. Here you guys can see different kind of transitions, different kind of audio files as well. Okay, you guys can come here and let's say I will just turn it back off. Okay, you guys can turn it back on and off. Okay, so this was a brief introduction about the workspace. I hope you guys do have understood a little bit, but once we move deeper into our classes, each and every one of these options will become more clear to you. Okay, so yeah, I hope to see you all in the next chapter. Till then, take care and goodbye, everyone.